Alright, what's going on YouTube? Sid here. I was just sent a message or a comment or whatever requesting me to do this video. This YouTuber asked me to do a video about how to find signed books, but basically I'm going to just do a video on how to find signed items, period. I know I did this before, probably a year or so ago, so I guess it's time to do another one, so no problem. Basically, for signed books, it's real easy. You go into your thrift store, and you go first to the autobiographies and the biographies. That's your best bet to find signed books, and it's the easiest place to find signed books. And just start opening the books and looking on the first page. Normally, it's either on the first blank page or the title page. It's one of those two, normally. And just start going through them. Once you've done it a few times, you can go through them really quickly. Normally, it's the hardback books that's going to have an autograph, but softcover books do have them as well. I find quite a few with softcover. So it takes time, so you got to have time. So if you're in a rush, I wouldn't suggest really doing it. You really got to have time to sit there and do it. But those are your best bets for signed books, is the biographies and the autobiographies. Then from there, then you can do stuff like your fiction books. If you have time, I know a lot of thrift stores have a lot of fiction books. But you'll find signed books there as well. Books by David Baldacci, Steve Berry, Mary Higgins Clark, Joseph Finder, John Lescroart, Dean Koontz, Clive Cussler. Finding like a Stephen King or something like that, it's pretty much just not going to happen, but you never know. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say go through every book, but, definitely go through the biographies and autobiographies. Then if you have time and you want to look, go through your fiction, and if you see stuff that doesn't look like professional, in that case it's probably like a local author. You'll easily find those signed. I found a lot here in the Midwest, local authors that maybe paid to have their book published, and they'll sign it. It's not going to be really valuable, but hey, it is a signed book. If you pick it up for $1 or less, go ahead and do so. Record albums, you can find record albums signed too. You just got to go through them, and don't just look on the front. At a store the other day, went ahead and was looking on the back, and I found 2 signed LPs signed on the back. One by country music legend Hank Thompson, and another by country music legend Jim Reeves. Jim Reeves' autograph is very valuable, and it was signed in like a black ballpoint pen, and it was kind of faded. So if I hadn't really been looking, I would have missed it. So, look at the front and the back as you're flipping through the albums. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be signed on the front, but look on the back. Signed photos. You can find signed photos in the picture frames. Pretty much every thrift shop has a shelf or a box of picture frames. Sometimes the pictures are still in there, if it's a painting or a family picture or something like that. A lot of times you'll find signed photos. At that same thrift store that I found the Hank Thompson, Jim Reeves signed albums, going through the picture frames, I found Johnny Paycheck signed photo, Take This Job and Shove It. I mean, that song is legendary. And I found James Earl Conley, I think is his name, or Earl James Conley. I'm not for sure on that, but another pretty famous country music artist. Both of those were in the picture frames. This guy just had a box of picture frames, and they were both stuck in there. and I paid $1 a piece. I mean, it's awesome. Cassette tapes. A lot of times they won't sign on the cover of the liner notes. Same thing with CDs. So make sure you open up the cassette, open up the CDs if you have the time. Again, you got to have the time to sit there and do this. It's not just a quick thing. You know, if you're a young kid and you're with your mom and dad at the thrift store and you're wanting to pop in and out, you know, you're not going to have time to look. You know, you got to set aside the time to look. You know, so again, cassettes and CDs, they don't always just sign the front. Sometimes they'll sign the CD on the inside, or they'll sign the liner notes on the inside. So don't just say, "Oh, it's not signed on the cover; it's not signed." Don't settle for that. You know, open it up. You know, I've been to thrift stores where I've asked them, because a lot of times they'll have the CDs taped shut. I'll ask them to open them up. They look at me funny, but it don't bother me. I'm almost 40 years old. I don't care what people think about me. So, and again with pictures, you know, make sure you look at those paintings, because they could be signed prints. It could be a famous painter or artist that did a print of this and signed it and numbered it. I found many local artists that way. You know, I didn't buy them because they were local artists, not, you know, really valuable, but always take a look. You know, same thing with posters. A lot of times the poster will be like a limited edition of and it's a reproduction of a painting or something, and the artist could have signed it and numbered it. You know, a lot of thrift stores have rolled up posters. Open them up, look at them. You know, same thing with DVDs. Open up the case, look inside. It could be signed on the inside. So trying to think if there's anything I missed. Sporting goods, and sometimes toys. Sometimes sporting goods will be like basketballs and footballs will be in with the toys. Go through those. A lot of times you'll find a signed baseball or a signed football. There's a couple different YouTubers I know of that have found signed baseballs by going through the toys. You know, or signed like a helmet, like from baseball. It'll be signed. You know, same thing with shirts. I mean, I've found signed shirts. So even going through the T-shirts, you know, if you find a band shirt, I found a Christian band named Avalon. I found a signed shirt by them. I found signed shirts by a bunch of different bands and people. So go through the shirts too if you have the time. You know, that's going a little bit extreme, but hey, you know, I guarantee you, you do it enough times, you know, one of these days you will hit and you'll get a signed shirt. So you can find signed shirts if you go through those as well. We know every thrift shop has clothes. It's 90% of what a thrift shop has. So, but yeah, go through the sporting goods and the toys. You know, look at the footballs, the basketballs, the baseballs, the mitts. Just quickly go through them, look at them. They could be signed. You never know. So just look stuff over, and you know, keep your eyes peeled. And again, it's all about the time. So, all right. I hope this was helpful, guys, and we'll talk to you later. See you.